Hi there and welcome. This is Functional Family Fridays. Thank you for tuning in. So today, since it's such a beautiful fall day, I thought we'd take it outside. So anyways, today's topic is the fifth most emotionally damaging type of negative parenting style, and that would be of the victim parent. So it's just like it says in the name, the parent who plays the role of the victim. Oh, woe is me, feel sorry for me type of parent. So what is a victim parent? Basically, it's a parent or a person who has that victim mentality. Basically, that's all they think about. You know, it's a psychological term that we use to describe another negative dysfunctional parenting style. So these parents have a very negative mindset and they want to actually feel persecuted in order to gain energy and attention from their children. Because you would say, Rita, who in their right mind want to feel persecuted? Well, these type of parents actually want to stay stuck in their pain because it gets them energy. Remember how I talked about in earlier videos that energy is their most valuable possession. We need energy in order to survive and to thrive. So this is how these parents get energy, okay, by being a victim. So let's talk about the characteristics of the victim parent. They're highly insecure, they're ego-based, so they're very self-centered, they have a low self-worth, self-esteem, and they lack self-confidence, okay? The world has to revolve about them. That's the sort of attitude they have, okay? They continuously feel sorry for themselves, and they believe that they're powerless in all situations. So, as the saying goes, do you choose to be pitiful or powerful? These people actually choose to be pitiful, okay? Because pitiful gets some attention, right? So you have to think about why they're doing it, all right? Healthy people can't comprehend why someone would want to be a victim, but that's why, because it gets them attention and energy, okay? So they're unable to solve or cope effectively with their problems, right? Um, they believe that life's treating them unfairly, and it's only them that's being treated unfairly. They feel ripped off, taken advantage of. This is what they believe. They have a very pessimistic attitude about life, that everything is a huge problem, nothing's fixable, gloom and doom, you know, and that's because they have no coping skills, okay? So they can be very paranoid and mistrusting of people at times, thinking that people are out to get them, they're purposely trying to hurt them or take advantage of them, right? Because of their insecurity. This is how they feel. So they believe that they're the only one being mistreated and persecuted. They want to, and believe it or not, they want to remain victims. Why? So they hold on so tightly to their negative thoughts, the experiences they've had, and their past pain that relates them to feeling like a victim. They actually want to hold very tightly to it because, again, that's what keeps them in victimhood. So these type of parents want nothing to do with change or embracing change. They're all about holding on to the past where their pain is. Think about victims of, you know, tragic victims. A lot of times, if you don't do the healing work, you're just going to stay stuck in the pain. So the same thing is happening with these parents. Perhaps it's pain from their childhood or wherever that pain has, usually from the childhood, and is just, you know, sort of cycled into their adulthood, and it's now become of their parenting style, okay? So they're very closed-minded because they refuse to change. And they refuse to consider any other perspectives other than what's going to keep them stuck. They're not open to any other ideas or concept that involve change because they want to stay there, okay? Now you might think that's crazy, but for them, this is their safety zone. This is what keeps them safe, and this is what gets them energy. So this they could do really well. Change is scary for the victim, person, or parent, okay? So they're not willing to consider other perspectives on how to think or cope with their problems because, again, they actually want to keep their problems, okay? So they feel compelled to keep the painful memories alive no matter what. They'll keep talking about it, recycling it, looking at videos, photos, staying in the same group of people, never making new friends. So they keep a very shallow, limited life in order to keep that reality going. And they have no intentions of forgiving whoever it is that has made them feel like a victim, right? So therefore, many of them become very bitter, resentful, and revengeful, okay? Also, victim parents or people can become very, have addictive behavior, right? This is their way of coping with all their unhappiness. So it's not unusual for the victim parent to turn to drugs, alcohol, comfort eating, drama, etc., sugar, whatever the addiction is, spending money, shopping, gambling, whatever the addiction is, okay? Because they, again, feel like victims, feel sorry for me, this is the only way I can cope. And many of them also suffer from mental and emotional health issues such as anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, okay? So it's not unusual. So now you might say, Rita, why the heck would my parent choose to be a victim? As I said earlier, this is what gets them energy. But there are 3 key reasons. To avoid taking responsibility for themselves, okay? Because as long as you're a victim, it's your fault, their fault, COVID's fault, the politician's fault, my children's fault. It's a lot of finger pointing and a lot of, name blaming and shaming, anything except taking responsibility for their own self. Because again, they can't cope with issues, no coping skills. They also, number 2, reason they choose to be a victim, to avoid change. They want, again, nothing to do with change because they want to stay stuck in victimhood. And as I mentioned, number 3, the reason they choose to be victims is it gets them energy. And we need energy to survive. So if that's the way they get energy, it's working for them, why would we ever want to change? So that's the reason they want to stay, those 3 reasons, in victimhood, okay? Not taking responsibility, avoiding change, okay? And it gets them energy. So how do they play the role of victim? Various ways. Some use the blame game, okay? They blame their children or other person for their circumstances, and that's why they're unhappy. It's your fault. If it wasn't for you kids, I would be this, that, okay? So a lot of blaming that they tend to put on their children, right? In order to get them to feel guilty and to succumb to their needs. So they also stay stuck in the past and in their pain, as I said earlier, to avoid change, okay? So that's how they play the victim. They don't evolve. There's no evolution with these people. If you ever meet the victim, you could recite their stories. You know exactly what they're going to say because you've heard it a million times before. Back in the day, back when I was your age, if it wasn't for you kids, and if I don't do this, this will never get done. That sort of martyr victim. You know, how do they play the victim role? They love pity parties. Pity parties is one of their favorite things. Okay, constantly feeling sorry for themselves, using their sickness, poor finances, the fact that there's no love in their life, they can't find a relationship. Well, sorry to say, love, but if you're in a victim mentality, that's not going to attract a lot of love into your life. Okay, people people of a higher vibration, positive sort of attitude, sort of veer away from people that are victim and pity parties and constantly feeling sorry for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that we all don't feel that once in a while. Sometimes, you know, we all feel down on ourselves, feel a little, you know, sad for ourselves, and that's not unusual. In fact, again, as I always say, you got to allow the emotions to go through you. So if you want to have a one-day pity party where you feel sorry for yourself and bust out the chips or ice cream and, talk about all the things that are, the reasons that this is going wrong for you, do it for a day. But then the next day, put that behind you and start the healing process, okay? So you got to get the goop out of you. The difference between that and these victim parents and people is they choose to stay stuck there, and that's where the damage starts, okay? So they're a victim parents' default negative emotions tend to be anger, unforgiveness, revenge, pity, guilt, and shaming, okay? Because this helps them to stay stuck in their victimhood, and it gets them the energy they need from their children and other people. So many times people feel bad for them, feel sorry for them. Facebook, social media is a wonderful platform for a lot of great things, but it's also become a platform for the boo-hoo, look what happened to me. So victims love social media as well, because they can go on there and get stroked or have, hundreds of people send them likes and hugs and kisses about, oh, I feel sorry for you. So again, there's nothing wrong with that, but the fact that you have to announce it to the world to get that attention, that sort of screams victim to me. So be careful what you post as well. The other sort of common victim parent tends to be the bitter divorced parent as well. They tend to, some of them will stay in that sort of bitterness and feel sorry for me, or he left me, she left me, and and look what's happening. So one of those sort of divorced parents often will choose to become the victim parent. It's not unusual. So now let's talk about the most important thing about having an emotionally damaging victim parent. The emotional impact that this victim parent has on the child's well-being. So the children are mentally, emotionally, and energetically depleted. Children of victim parents, because they feel unloved by their parents, because their parents are so consumed with their own victimitis infinitus that they don't have a lot left to give, right? They're so focused on themselves that the children never receive that love and attention from the parent, all right? So the child tends to be very depleted of their emotional energy is going to the parent, all their thoughts around the parent, and their physical energy of catering to the victim parent. So a lot of these children are maxed out and depleted, okay? The victim parent will also shame or guilt trip the child to feel sorry for them. So the child feels a natural loyalty to the parent and will allow the guilt tripping to happen to them, okay? because a parent will go on and on about all the sacrifices that they have made to be this child's parent. So that is so damaging. If you know someone that's doing it or you're doing it, please stop, right? Your child never asked to be born. You chose to conceive. So downloading all the sacrifices of what you should be doing as a parent is completely harmful and irrelevant, okay? And I know that's hard to hear, but this is a wake-up call. This is what all these videos are about, to be able to see the good, the bad, the ugly about our parenting so that we can become better, more evolved, happy, conscious parents, okay? In order to be better than your parent, you gotta do better. But first you gotta know better, okay? So the truth is gonna hurt sometimes, all right? So also, because these parents are self-centered and completely focused on their own needs, they're constantly seeking the time, the energy, and the attention from their poor children. So their children's emotional needs rarely or never get met, okay? So there's a lot of damage there. Children of victim parents grow up with negative parent role modeling, right? Because of the parent's fear and negative outlook on life, right? And finally, the child ends up becoming what they despise as well often. So the child becomes angry, unhappy, right? Because they're subjected to this unhappy parent who's fearful, controlling, who's an energy vampire, who's distracted and neglectful, and incapable of unconditionally loving their child. So often the child of a victim parent will feel unloved, feel unimportant, and feel irrelevant because the parent is literally sucking the living daylights out of that child, okay? So extremely harmful parenting. So, did you grow up with a victim parent? Or, God forbid, are you seeing yourself now as being a victim parent? If so, what's my solution, Rita? What do I do? How do I fix this? Well, there's 3 steps, okay? Step 1, you got to work on accepting that you can't change the past, and you have to be willing to heal and embrace change. So that's step 1, you wanting to change. Step 2 is you got to work on healing those negative emotions, the anger, the bitterness, the revenge, the unforgiveness, the guilt tripping. You got to work on healing those triggers, okay? And the 3rd step is you got to get happy now, because happy parents raise happy children, okay? Unhappy parents raise unhappy children. There's a cycle here, and that's the cycle of negative dysfunction. So you want to avoid that. So here's the thing. I could help you with steps 2 and 3, the healing and the get happy now. But step 1 is yours to take alone. You have to be willing to accept that you can't change your past. The past, you need to embrace the past. It's made you the parent and the person you are today. So there's nothing wrong with that. But choosing to stay stuck there is only going to continue to make you a victim and make you bitter, okay? And you'll never be happy that way. Trust me. So my coaching, parent coaching recommendation for you, if you have either grown up with a victim parent or you are parenting with victim mentality. Step 1, if you're ready to take the step and improve your emotional and mental health and become a better parent than your victim parent was, then I've got 2 things that I can help you, okay? So I'm assuming that if you're still here, you've said, yes, Rita, I want to change. I didn't realize I was being the victim. Or, I remember when I played the victim role, I was so sick of hearing my own stories. I was sick of my own victimhood. So I couldn't imagine how other people perceived me. You know, that you get sick of hearing your own voice and the stories that you're telling people. It's time to make new stories. You know, you got to remember, life is too short to spend it unhappy. So I can help you if you're ready. So what I'm going to do for step number 2 is download my free emotional checklist. This is how you're going to become aware of the state of your emotions. So first we have to see, are you truly a victim? You know, how severe a victim are you? And how much work needs to be done? So go to my website, www.thefunctionalfamily.ca, and right on the home page, scroll down, you're going to see a free downloadable emotional checklist. Sign up right now, okay? I'm going to put the link to this video as well. And step number 3, if you're ready and once you've done the emotional checklist, join and register the Happy Parent Program. The Happy Parent Program is an emotional empowerment program, okay? So it helps parents like you evolve emotionally, pull you out of that, feelings of feeling stuck or victimhood, and teaching you how to heal those triggers that are making you angry or unhappy or vengeful, and bringing you to a place of peace, okay? So that concludes today's video of the Functional Family Friday. Next week we'll talk about the parent living in denial, okay? So I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notifications of these videos as soon as they come out. Please also subscribe to the emotional checklist. Remember, it's all free, people. So, if you're not willing to do this, chances are you're not making yourself a priority. So please make yourself a priority. Remember, I'm here to help you, and you don't have to do it alone. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And if you feel you're ready to move past the emotional checklist and you want to get started, and please jump on the Happy Parent Program Stage 1. Register today, right now. What are you waiting for? So I'll see you on the other side, and I'll definitely see you next week for another episode. Till then, be well, be happy, and prosperous. God bless. Take care.